Big Bull, good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. Also, don't forget, we are live tomorrow, people. And I'm excited for it because we've not done a live in months. So I can't wait for this one tomorrow. On that, a lot of you have reached out to me and said, Ade, we want to watch the live, but West Ham are playing. West Ham take on Fiorentina tomorrow in the Europa Conference League final. I want to watch that game as well. So we are going to start the live early. We're going to start the live. West Ham kick off at 8 o'clock. I think the live needs to be more than an hour. We're going to start the live at 6:45. It's a bit early. I know it's a bit early, but just so all of you can tune in, because I actually want to watch the football as well. So live will get going at 6:45. I'm going to put something in the community tab to remind all of you guys. So please tune in. Again, we haven't done a live for months. There's loads to talk about. So it should be fun. Something, when I was away in Nigeria, I was coming up with ideas for the channel and thinking of things that I can do. I love doing this. I love having guests in. I don't do enough of the guests, but just busy. Honestly, we're so busy. What I do want to do, which is something really crazy, is I've always wanted to challenge myself to cut weight. You know, when you see these fighters cutting weight, I've always wanted to challenge myself to do it. Just because I'm quite competitive and I just want to see what it's like cutting weight. Look, these fighters go through hell doing it. And trust me, if I have to go through hell to do it, I think I would go through hell to do it just to see. I think the best weight for me, like if I was a fighter, what am I? I'm 5'10", 5'11" on a good day. If I'm a fighter, I think my structure would probably be around the light heavyweight limit. That's 175 pounds, which is, what's that, 80 kilos, there or thereabouts. I'm now, as we sit here today, 94.5 kilos. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. I spoke to a video guy of mine and said, look, this is the content I want to do. Literally, I'm going to speak to a nutritionist. I'm going to speak to a doctor. We're going to get to gyms. So I'm writing ideas down. I want to do like an 8-week almost detox to do it. I want to start as soon as possible, but I want that to kind of be the next content on this channel. So me cutting weight to see if I can make the light heavyweight division. It's going to be tough. Bear in mind, I'm 42. I'm 42 as well. I try and stay relatively healthy, but you know, I'm actually happy because I want to stop all the drinking. I want to stop all the shisha, all the takeaways anyway. So it'll be quite good just to see where my body can get to. But yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to speak to a number of people about it before we kind of give it the green light. But yeah, that's what I want to do. And I want to start filming in the next couple of weeks. So look, we'll see how it goes. I might put some sort of charity element in it just so we can raise a bit of money for charity as well, and that will help the push of me not wanting to give up, I think. But yeah, that's the plan, guys. So yeah, we're going to try and see if we can get down to the light heavyweight limit of 175 pounds. I don't know. All right, let's talk some boxing. Munguia, not sure what Charlo's plan is moving forward, but I'm ready to face him. It's a fight I've been wanting for a while for Munguia. Obviously takes on Derevyanchenko very, very soon, which I think will be a fun, competitive fight. Munguia unbeaten. Maybe doesn't get the respect he deserves because there isn't that one big marquee name on the resume. Liam Smith's on there and a couple others, but there isn't that one big one. At a time, I thought Golovkin would be that one. I don't think Golovkin's going to fight Munguia. I like the Charlo one, but it does look like, by the way, he's talking about Jamal Charlo. But it looks like Jamal Charlo, who is now through what he was going through, looks like he might move up to 168 to take on Caleb Plant. That's the rumor circling. So it'd be interesting to see what Munguia does if he gets past Derevyanchenko, which is no gimme, by the way. Charles Conwell feels he needs to beat Brian Mendoza to push for the fight with Jamel Charlo. I don't think he's going to get that regardless. Look, Conwell, a good prospect, 18-0, 13 knockouts. So that's solid, right? Only 25, 26. I just don't think Jamel's going to stay around at that weight class after the Zoo fight and then potentially a Crawford fight. If there is no Crawford fight, I think Charlo's going to 160 immediately. He's a big guy. Very big. I've seen him. I don't know how, I was talking about cutting weight. I don't know how these guys get down to this weight class. I really don't. It's incredible. I've seen him. He's at least my height, if not an inch taller, but I'd say around my height. And he doesn't look like he's all skin and bones either. Honestly, crazy. Regis Prograis on Haney Loma. Not a robbery. It was close. Haney should run it back. Yeah, I think we all have been saying that. Whether or not he will is a whole nother discussion. I mean, look, he's going to look at the options on the table. They'll look at the pay-per-view buys. They'll look at if there's a big financial fight out there, bigger than a Loma rematch. And I've said, look, if it can't be Shakur and Gervonta Davis or even Prograis, I don't think Prograis is bigger, if I'm honest with you, then you're going to go to Loma. You're going to go there just because of the money. And it was very, very close. And it wasn't like, I thought Loma won, but I didn't think Loma won 8-4. It was either a draw or 7-5 for me. Benavidez Sr. Give Canelo what he wants. We want the opportunity, not the payday. Okay, I think by that they're saying that whatever the split is, they'll take it. And I think they will take it as well. I don't know if Canelo really... I think Canelo's better than Benavidez. I'll say that. I still think Canelo... I've said that I think he's slipping just because Pete Canelo was so extraordinary. I thought he was sensational. That guy that fought Danny Jacobs, the guy that fought Golovkin 2, even Golovkin 1, Sergey Kovalev, that Canelo there, sensational. So he has dropped from that. It's just going to happen. So many tough fights. It's going to happen. But I still think Canelo's better than Benavidez. Although Benavidez, young, hungry, very, very big for 168. Very big for 168. Man, it's interesting because obviously recently Dimitri Bivol's come out and I think his father or his manager or advisor have said, look, we're not going to take what Canelo's offered us. We're not doing that. We've beat him. So unless, the money's a bit more, the percentage is a bit more, we're not doing it. So Canelo's got really two options. It's either you up the money with Bivol, because I think Canelo wants that Bivol get back, or you do this. You look at what else is out there, which is why I made a video recently talking about Errol Spence versus Canelo, because you look at what's out there in terms of big fights for Canelo, there ain't that many obvious answers, is there? I mean, I think Jamal would have been a good one, but he's just been so inactive. There aren't that many, so I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what Canelo does. Look, we know he gives us May, September. I mean, if you are thinking of fighting September, you kind of might want to make a decision in the next, June 5th, June 6th? You kind of want a decision next month, don't you? You want it. Not necessarily to get the sale going, but to give the guy you're fighting an 8-week camp at minimum. You want that. So it's going to be soon. It'll be interesting. Very interesting who he fights. Talking of fights, also AJ Dillian White. We touched on it in yesterday's video. I'm seeing reports now that is very, very close to being signed August 12th, likely to be the O2 Arena, which makes sense. This want for stadium fights, for me, stadium fights are great. I mean, we've seen some fantastic fights in terms of energy in stadiums. AJ Klitschko, AJ Usyk 2 was crazy. I always keep talking about Josh Warrington, Mauricio Lara, but arena fights have so much noise as well because it's obviously all enclosed. I like it. I like the fight for AJ. I've always said that I want AJ to have 3 fights this year. Like, my thing for AJ has been inactivity, and that's my one stick to beat him with. Like, come on, man, fight, please fight. And I think AJ wants that as well. I think AJ wants the 3 fights this year. It looked like that wouldn't happen because of all this talk about Saudi Arabia and AJ versus Wilder. But I almost feel like, I think AJ Wilder will happen, by the way, end of the year. But I feel like AJ's put his foot down a bit here and have said, I want a fight in the summer. I'm not sitting it out. And this could have been AJ sitting down with Derek James and saying, okay, what's the best thing for us going forward? And Derek James has probably said activity. It has to be that. It has to be activity. So I like it. I think it makes sense for both parties. If you're Dillian White, you must be very, very happy about this because there's been a lot of talk about we don't know where AJ is. I have no idea where Dillian White is. No idea. His last 2 fights, Tyson Fury, it was an awful performance. I think even Dillian White would admit that. Awful. Tried to go southpaw, remember? And then just got the uppercut from hell. And then Franklin, again, a weird Dillian White performance. Franklin, I give him a little bit of a bly with, just because we didn't know too much about Jermaine Franklin, and that was his first camp, Dillian White with Buddy McGurk. So obviously, look, he was trying to do a couple of things. It didn't quite work, so I'm going to give him a bit of a bly. But yeah, I have no idea where White is right now. There was a time, I'd say about 18 months ago, maybe, just before the real emergence of Joe Joyce, where a lot of you guys, never me really, but a lot of you guys had Dillian White as the 5th best heavyweight in the world. He isn't that anymore, is he? I don't know if he makes people's top 10, if I'm honest with you. So for Dillian White, this will be a very important fight to see where he is. Like, where does Dillian White fit into this heavyweight landscape? And plus, look, it's great money for Dillian White as well. An AJ fight, likely to be on the DAZN pay-per-view, O2 Arena. Dillian White's getting paid. You know what? Dillian White, yeah, say what you want about him in terms of boxing ability. Like, I've never been a fan of his boxing style, but he gets the job done, right? I mean, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Not everyone's going to be boxing beautiful. He has maximized his career. He has maximized his talent. He really is. He really has, sorry. Like, when you see these fighters that maybe you feel like, come on, man, more, I expect more from you. Dillian White isn't one of those. He really isn't one of those. I could do a whole list of fighters that I expected more from. Dillian White would never fit in that, because I never thought Dillian White was a great fighter. I'm sorry, a great boxer. I've always thought he was a great fighter because he's a brawler, but never a great boxer. But he's made his money. He's fought for a world title. He's done pay-per-views. He's headlined shows. He's packed arenas. Solid career. And I'm guessing Dillian White's about 34, 35. Let's have a quick look. Dillian White, 35. This is obviously now the end of it. This is the end of it. And this is a big money fight he's getting at the end. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, again, your last 3 fights have been Tyson Fury in a stadium, sold out, world title fight. Jermaine Franklin, okay, we'll skip over that. And now AJ, your nemesis, O2 Arena, big money. It's solid. It's solid for him. But back to AJ with this one. As much as I want to say that I want to see an aggressive AJ against Dillian White, almost have to, someone told me this the other day, actually. I think it was Nick Pete. Me and Nick Pete were talking. Forget that AJ. Like, forget it. And he's right. Forget that. This AJ now, it's a different fighter. It's a different fighter. This AJ now, I feel like, is built for longevity in the sport. I don't have a problem with that. And I think that's what AJ is doing now. I think his style of fighting now isn't one where we're going to get that many risks taken. I still think there'll be times in the fight where, he gives you what you want, and punches and bunches, and hopefully we get a bit of that. But I feel like this now is almost him converting a bit to the Klitschko. Like, I think AJ actually put up a photo recently on his Instagram of Vitaly and Vlad. And I think he likes that style. Maybe not so Vitaly, because he was all action, but Vlad. And, Vlad towards the end, who, we saw holes with early. Look at the fights against Samuel Peters. He then sort of reinvented himself. And I think that's what we're seeing with AJ. So, look, back to it. I don't mind it. I really don't. I know where AJ is. I know where I want him to be. And I think in order for me to get, or for him to get to where he wants to be, I think we need to see activity. And I have no problem with it being Dillian White. I mean, look who everyone else is fighting. I mean, Deontay Wilder fought Helenius. Tyson Fury is fucking mentioned the likes of Dempsey McKean and Jail Pataya. But his real last fight was Chisora. So no one's fighting killers unless your name's Joe Joyce. Everyone seems to be taking easier fights, if you like. Usyk, Dubois. So look, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Let's hope it gets announced very, very soon. I'm sure Matchroom are about to announce their final quarter of shows. Would that be correct? Or yeah, because they haven't really announced anything from August onwards, have they? I think the last British fight over here that's been announced is who is it again? Sam Maxwell, isn't it? It is, isn't it? Isn't that fight? I think Dalton Smith, Sam Maxwell. I think it is. So yeah, we wait to see what's going to be announced after that. All right. What else have we got? Let's have a look and see if there's any more information. Michael Conlon. I was just off. I can't explain why. I didn't follow the game plan. That's kind of what I would expect a fighter to say. Like, not many fighters, and I've covered this sport for a while now, whether it be on this or professionally, not many fighters will say, I just got beat. It doesn't. It rarely happens. There's always a reason, and that's the mentality you've got to have. I guess you've got to have that as a fighter. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what Michael Conlan does. Some have said retirement. No. Michael Conlan believes he can be a world champion, right? He's always been touted as being that guy. So it's going to be difficult knowing you've had 2 cracks at it and you've lost both and been stopped in both as well. So maybe it's just a reassess trainer situation. I think he's a bit small at the weight. I did say this, so maybe they look at going to super bantam. I'm not sure, but yeah, not sure. Not sure what you do with Michael Conlan. All right, let's have a look if there's any other bits of news that I've missed. Let's go into Michael Benson's Twitter page and see what he's saying. There's a bit here. I might do a separate video on this one. There's a bit here on Deontay Wilder smashing the pads. You know, I feel like I've seen that video 100 times. It's Malik Scott posting it. And look, by the way, it looks a lot better. It looks really sharper. They're obviously trying different things. Looks like he's put on a bit more size as well. But who are we training for? Who are we training for? Everyone else seems to, at least, unless it's going to be Tyson Fury 4, everyone else has kind of got fights in and around them. Don't know, man. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Like, the perfect opponent's Andy Ruiz. That's the one. That's the one. If that can be made financially, that's the opponent. I don't know if you risk a Frank Sanchez or anyone like that, but I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Deontay Wilder in the next couple of months. Or is he just going to sit out and wait for AJ? I doubt that. I doubt that very much. Anthony Fowler retiring. Anthony Fowler's retired from the sport. 32. He left a lengthy post on Twitter, just explaining that, you know, he's okay financially. He's got other investments and things outside the sport. He's got a couple of kids now, a family, and, you know, getting punched in the head ain't the greatest thing, is it, going forward? Solid career. Good amateur. Maybe stayed as an amateur a bit too long, but great amateur. Good career as a pro. And look, wish him good luck in retirement. Get in, get rich, get out. He's made some good money. From the sport. And he's out with all his faculties in place. He's won. All right. Anything else before we wrap? No, that's it. Guys, girls, that is it. Remember, live tomorrow, 6:45. Make sure you're there. Peace.